Hey guys, welcome to my channel. On today's video I want to discuss Metal Gear Solid The Master Collection, and I'm only going to focus on Metal Gear Solid 1 because I've only just completed it, so I'm going to give you a little quick review on it as well. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but what I will highlight is what you must do before you play Metal Gear Solid 1. It's very important you do this because there's been a lot of complaints about the port that Konami did for the Master Collection. It was probably the laziest port I've ever seen. There's a lot of criticism about it. I've done a separate video on the cartridge version of the game. You could see that, there's a link right here. But yeah, I want to just talk about the game and what you must do before you even start the game. Right, so the first thing you need to do when you boot up Metal Gear Solid 1 is I totally recommend you play the Japanese version. There's two versions from the menu screen. You'll see here you've got the Metal Gear Solid VR, you got the American version, and you got the PAL version. And then it's the same for Metal Gear Solid 1. You got the PAL version, which is the European version, and you've got the Japanese version. They don't give you an American version for some reason. Now, there's a big difference between the PAL version and the Japanese or the American version. The European PAL version back in them days, the PS1 days, for some reason, PAL games were all run at 50 Hz. They were very slow. They were super slow. We didn't notice it because that's all we had. But once I played the American version, later, it was just crazy. Like 60 Hz, it just made a massive difference in the gameplay. It was faster, it was smoother, frame rates were better. So yeah, anyway, I just completed Metal Gear Solid 1. I did the entire campaign on the PAL version, which runs at 50 Hz. I mean, I noticed the speed straight away because, I've played the American version since then, it was so slow, and it wasn't, I got used to it, but I didn't like it, I didn't enjoy it. It was, you can see it on this video, so that's what I'm showing you right now. This is the PAL version of Metal Gear Solid 1. I don't know if you've played the NTSC version yet, or the Japanese version, but this is running at like 50 Hz. It's very slow, and I played the entire game like this. So what I would recommend anyone who hasn't played it yet, if you're thinking of picking up Metal Gear Solid, the Master Collection, download the Japanese language pack. So from the main menu, you have to select the Japanese version, and then it'll ask you, do you want to download the language pack? I think it's like 3 GB. Just download it, it's totally worth it. Download the extra 3 GB. I didn't do it initially because I thought it's just a language pack. It's not going to change the the hertz or anything like that. It's just silly of me. I should have known that if it's the Japanese version, it will be running at 60 Hz. And yeah, you'll notice the difference. I'll show you the Japanese version in a sec. But yeah, the PAL version, which is what's running here, you can see the way Snake runs. It's very slow. You notice it a lot on 3D games, like fighting games and stuff like that. You'll notice that the gameplay is very slow because it's running at 50 Hz. Well, I just completed the entire game like this in this version. So don't start the PAL version because it's the worst version. It's terrible. You do eventually get used to it, but it's bad. Like it just kind of just ruins the gameplay. So yeah, that's the first thing I wanted to highlight. Make sure you play the Japanese version. It's the same with the VR. You've got two options. For the VR, they got the American version and you got the PAL version. Do not play the PAL version. Play the American one. You'll have to download the language pack. Then once you've done that, just play the American version. It runs at 60 Hz and it's so much better, so much smoother, and it's just so much more fun. So yeah, I wanted to cover that. That's the first thing you need to do when you play this remaster for the Switch. And that's how you get your 60 Hz. I don't know why people complain that there's no 60 Hz option. There is. You just got to play the American version, not the PAL. That's it. Now I'm going to switch over to the Japanese version, which is called Metal Gear Solid Integral. Right, so it's the one right at the bottom. And I've already downloaded the language pack, so it's not going to ask me to go to the eShop and download the language pack. It's about 3 GB, but I've already downloaded it, so it's just going to start straight away. And you'll see now the difference in speed, because this version runs at 60 Hz. So I'm just going to go in the options, change a few things. I'm going to change the language to English because, you know, it's a Japanese version, so it gives you the option to play, you know, with English text. The language, as in the audio language, is always English. You can't change that. But the text you can change from Japanese to English, which is good, you know, so you can play the Japanese version in English. So yeah, the only other thing I changed was the first person option. You can reverse it, you know, so that up is up and down is down. I'm going to play on hard because I just recently completed it. I don't really want to do normal again, you know, just give myself a little bit of a challenge. I think the hard option is it removes the radar, so you don't have any radar. You can't see the enemies. This, you know, makes it harder. You have to actually sneak around and, you know, yeah, it's harder. There's no radar. That's the main difficulty. So now it's running at 60 Hz, and you can already see Snake is moving a lot quicker. I mean, I'm underwater here, so let me just grab this ration. Yeah, I think because I'm playing on hard, I think I'm going to need the ration. That's the other thing, you get less rations to carry on hard. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, look at the way Snake moves. It's so much quicker. There you go, you can see it is just so much smoother and, you know, faster. The gameplay is quicker, it's smoother. It's just, this is how it should be. This is the original way to play this game. Unfortunately, Konami doesn't really explain any of that. They just put it packed up and go ahead, play the PAL version if you want, or play the Japanese version. They don't tell you the difference. You know, they could have told you that the PAL version runs at 50, Japanese and American run at 60. If they made that clear, I think people would rather play the Japanese version. And I always knew this, but like an idiot, I just thought, oh, I don't want to download the language pack, it's 3 GB. And then only once I completed the game, I thought, oh, let's just try this Japanese version. And then I realised, oh, damn it, it's running at 60 Hz. Look at it. Just look how quick it is. Like, I'm just gutted that I didn't play the game like this. I feel like playing the game all over again now, but I'm not going to. I did enjoy it, I'm not going to lie. So I want to talk about the game as well. Yeah, so let's talk about Metal Gear. This, you know, Metal Gear 1 in general. Does it hold up today? Is it still good? Is it, you know, as good as it was back in 1999 or 1998? So gameplay wise, it is still a really good game. Like there's some moments in it that I wasn't too keen on towards the end of the game. I don't want to spoil any. I'm not even going to talk about the story for anyone who's never played it. Not going to talk about the story. Metal Gear story is very good, but it's very complicated. It's very hard to explain anyway. But it's a Hideo Kojima game, and gosh, he goes into detail about all sorts when it comes to this stuff. But yeah, let's talk about the gameplay. Gameplay is still awesome. It's obviously one of the first 3D stealth action games. It's so revolutionary for its time, and it still holds up very well today. Not many PS1 games do, in my opinion, but this one is up there. I'd probably say it's the best PS1 game, next to the Final Fantasy games. One of the things about this game that is absolutely timeless is the voice acting. I mean, that's the thing that you know made this game so good initially. Anyway, was it some voice acting? David Hayter, who does the voice for Solid Snake, he's my favorite voice actor in video game of all time, because for me, I didn't really care about voice actors in video games until David Hayter did Solid Snake. This is a game that took cinematic voice acting and, you know, just cinematics in general, like in video game, to the next level. Before this game, we had voice acting in games like Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, Dino Crisis, and, you know, just games here and there where they just spoke, but it was nothing like, you know, Hollywood cinematics. Metal Gear is the one that revolutionized cinematic in video games and took it to a whole new level. And you know what? Does it hold up today? Does the voice acting, does the story, does the cinematics hold up? I'd say 100% it holds up. I'd say the cinematics are still some of the best ever. Like, there's some parts that are still emotional. I don't want to give any spoilers for anyone who's not played the game, but let's just say when certain characters, you know, are having their last breath, they give off some really good speeches, and it can be a bit emotional. And yeah, you even want to give Solid Snake an Oscar at times. It's that good. You know, I know a lot of people talk about Last of Us being up there as one of the best in cinematics. Last of Us wouldn't be where it is today if it wasn't for games like Metal Gear Solid. You know, this is a game that set the standards in stealth and in cinematics. And yeah, the gameplay 100% holds up. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's loads of things you can't do that you can do in future games. Like, you can't, you know, there's a lot of elements in the stealth that's not here, but this is the first Metal Gear, so you gotta remember that. But does it hold up still? Is it still playable? 100%. Some of the boss battles are still great. Vulcan Raven, I really enjoyed that one. I don't want to talk about boss battles, like I said, I don't want to give spoilers, but let's just say the boss battles are brilliant. Yeah, it's just a really good game, and it's dead short. I didn't realise how short it is. I watched all the cutscenes and everything, and I completed the game in about 9 hours, so yeah, I forgot how short it was for, you know, it's under 10 hours, so yeah, and it's not too difficult either. There was probably just one part of the game that I found really tedious, where you had to like do a lot of backtracking, just towards the end of the game. If you've played it, you know which part I'm on about. Apart from that, I think I thoroughly enjoyed the whole game. My only issue was I played it in 50Hz, so guys, if you do decide to play Metal Gear Solid 1, do not play the PAL version, you will not enjoy it. Even if you played it back in the days like myself on you know 50Hz, you're not going to enjoy it. It's so slow, it makes the game feel dated. But if you play the 60Hz, it's actually, it feels fresh, and it feels like it's still very, very, very playable. Graphics, I will say that the graphics have aged very badly. They're not very good looking graphics anymore. If anyone's played the Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes on the GameCube, that's the definitive version of Metal Gear Solid 1. If you can get hold of a GameCube and Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, that's probably the best way to play this game. But if you can't, then the original still holds up 100%. Graphically, yeah, that's probably its weakest part. The graphics have not aged. Twin Snakes redoes the cinematic action scenes so good. Like, you know, I've not played Metal Gear 1 since probably 2003 or something, before the Twin Snakes came out. So I'm used to the Twin Snakes cutscenes, and the cutscenes in Twin Snakes were so entertaining. But yeah, let's not compare this with Twin Snakes. Let's focus on this one. I would still say this game 100% holds up, and I think you should try it. And yeah, I'm surprised it's still as good as it is. You know, considering it's like 25 years old now. Yeah, it's still holds up. So yeah, let me know in the comment section, guys, if you found this useful, if you've played it yet in 50Hz, 60Hz, you know, what you think of the remaster. Yeah, just let me know in the comment section, and thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found this useful.